manager, leader, who are you? Welcome back to another episode of Davison at Last. Now today we are going to talk about a very important topic here. What's the difference between a manager and a leader? Now lots of audience I've talked to, they thought, oh, you know what, it's very similar. They both, the top of the company, they got paid more, right? And they have more power. Well, functionally, they are quite different. And in this lesson, I'm going to explain to you in details why they are different. Now here's the thing. A manager is there to maintain the behavior. Now previously I talked about core values. Core values dictate the behaviors of a team. Now, once the core values of a company is set, the manager is there to make sure that the team all behaves in the same manner, all have the same behavior and execute as a team and behave as a team, one team. Now, assuming all the rules have been set up, the manager is there to make sure that all these rules are being respected. And also, the manager is there to make sure that the status quo is maintained. If something is done this way, just make sure that it always goes this path unless the leader has changed his plan. Now, just speaking of the devil, the leader, what does a leader really do? A leader is basically the person who defines what a company's vision is. And also, if there are changes needed in the business, what kind of changes are needed? The leader is kind of, in a sense, if you're on a boat crossing the Pacific or the Atlantic Ocean. Now, you need both the captain and the staff on the boat to make the whole boat work, the whole cruise. Now, the leader is basically the captain. He defines the direction where the company is headed, the vision of this company, how this company sees the world, and if there are changes needed, it would do the necessary changes for the company to change direction. Now, once he defines the vision and any changes, and of course any of these core values, then what happens is the manager is out there to make sure that all these core values, all the visions, and any of the changes are being implemented. So, in other words, leader is kind of like a captain who defines the direction, and the manager is kind of the general who makes sure that whatever plans implemented by the leader has to be executed as the leader's wish. It's more important, the manager or the leader? Actually, both of them are just equally important, because you cannot sail a cruise without knowing its direction. And even if you know its direction, but without management and orders, the cruise cannot function. And actually, in most of the startups, it is really common to see that there's just one person who acts as both the manager and as the leader, mainly because there's just not enough people to begin with. But it is recommended that for leaders, they have to consistently find new people who can become the new leaders to guide the company. And actually the only job of a leader, besides defining all the visions and core values, mission statement, is to find more people with the abilities to become the next leaders. And same as managers. Managers have to keep finding other people to become the new blood, to become new managers. So an example is if you have this one person as a leader already. Now, he is going to find these new leaders. And these new leaders are going to give guidance to the company. And same as the managers. You have the manager here, and you're going to train and develop new managers so that the company can consistently grow itself. Now, I talk about two important concepts today. The difference between a leader and a manager. Last but not least, the both of them are equally important in the functioning of a company. And that's exactly how a company gets bigger and bigger.